Marcus Chen adjusted his tie for the third time as he wheeled his daughter Emma into the small downtown diner. The contrast couldn't have been starker. Here he was, a man worth $43 million, entering a place where the vinyl seats had seen better decades and the fluorescent lights flickered intermittently. But Emma had specifically requested this place after seeing it from their car window the previous week, and Marcus had learned long ago that saying no to his 7-year-old daughter was nearly impossible. Emma's wheelchair made soft squeaking sounds as they navigated between the cramped tables. Born with spina bifida, she had never known life without wheels, but her spirit soared higher than most children who could run and jump. Her bright hazel eyes, so much like her late mother's, sparkled with excitement as she took in the cheerful chaos of the busy lunch hour. "Daddy, look at all the people," Emma whispered, her small hands gripping the armrests of her custom wheelchair. They all looked so happy eating together. Marcus felt the familiar tightness in his chest that came whenever Emma made observations about normalcy that most families took for granted. Since losing his wife Sarah to cancer 3 years ago, every meal had been eaten in their mansion's formal dining room, served by their housekeeper, Mrs. Rodriguez. Emma rarely experienced the simple joy of dining among strangers, of being part of the ordinary world that existed beyond their gated community. A young woman with auburn hair pulled back in a messy ponytail approached their table. Her name tag read Maya, and despite the obvious exhaustion in her shoulders and the flour stains on her apron, her smile was genuine and warm. Marcus noticed immediately how she knelt down to Emma's eye level, something most adults failed to do. "Well, hello there, beautiful," Maya said softly to Emma. "I love your sparkly shirt. Purple is definitely your color." Emma giggled, a sound that always made Marcus's heart swell. "Thank you. Daddy says I look like a princess when I wear purple." "Your daddy is absolutely right," Maya replied, then looked up at Marcus with a professional but friendly nod. "What can I get started for you folks today?" As Maya took their order, Marcus found himself studying her. There was something about the way she moved, purposeful yet unhurried, that spoke of someone who had learned to find grace in demanding circumstances. When Emma struggled to reach the crayons Maya had brought with the children's menu, the waitress didn't hesitate to help, chatting easily about the different colors while Emma made her selection. "I'm going to draw our house," Emma announced. "It's really big, but sometimes it feels empty." Maya's hand paused for just a moment as she set down Emma's apple juice. "Houses can feel however we need them to feel," she said gently. "Sometimes the biggest houses need the most love to fill them up." Marcus felt something shift in his chest at those words. How had this stranger, this waitress in a small diner, managed to articulate something he had been feeling for years, but could never express? When Maya returned with their food, Emma was struggling to cut her pancakes. The specialized utensils that occupational therapy had recommended were back home, and the regular knife and fork were proving challenging for her limited fine motor control. Marcus started to reach over to help, but Maya was already there. "You know what?" Maya said conspiratorially to Emma. "I have a secret technique for eating pancakes. Want me to show you?" Without waiting for an answer, Maya demonstrated how to use the side of the fork to break the pancakes into manageable pieces. "My little sister taught me this trick. She's about your age and she says forks are magic wands that can cut anything if you believe hard enough." Emma's eyes widened with delight. "Really? Magic wands?" "Absolutely," Maya confirmed with exaggerated seriousness, "but you have to make a wish first." As Emma concentrated on making her wish and attempting the technique, Marcus watched Maya's face. There was no pity there, no awkwardness, just genuine care and creativity. Most people, even well-meaning ones, became uncomfortable around Emma's disability. They either ignored it completely or focused on it exclusively. Maya simply saw Emma as a little girl who needed pancakes cut into smaller pieces. "Maya," Marcus found himself saying as she prepared to leave their table, "do you have children?" A shadow crossed her face so quickly he almost missed it. "I have a younger sister I help take care of," she said carefully. "Lucy. She's 8. "Where is she now?" "At school. She goes to Lincoln Elementary about 6 blocks from here." Maya glanced toward the window as if she could see the school from where they stood. I work double shifts most days, but I always make sure to be home when she gets off the school bus. Marcus nodded, filing away this information. There was something in Maya's tone that suggested Lucy wasn't just any little sister, but perhaps something more complex. As they finished their meal, Emma's energy began to flag. The excitement of the new environment, combined with the physical effort required for her to navigate it, had tired her out. Maya noticed immediately. "Would you like me to bring you a pillow for your back, sweetie?" she asked Emma. "I'm okay," Emma said, but her voice was small, and Marcus could see she was uncomfortable. Maya disappeared for a moment and returned with a small cushion. "This is our special comfort pillow," she explained. "It's only for our most important customers." As Maya helped adjust the pillow behind Emma's back, Marcus heard her humming softly under her breath. It was "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," the same song Sarah used to sing to Emma during her bedtime routine. Emma's eyes grew heavy, lulled by the familiar melody. "How did you know?" Marcus asked quietly. Maya looked confused. "Know what?" "That song. My wife used to sing it to Emma every night." Understanding dawned on Maya's face, followed by a gentle compassion. "I'm sorry for your loss," she said simply. "Sometimes the heart just knows what it needs to hear." When it came time to pay the bill, Marcus left a tip that was larger than most people's weekly salary. Maya stared at the receipt for a long moment, then looked up at him with confusion rather than excitement. "Sir, I think there's been a mistake. This tip is—" "Not a mistake," Marcus said firmly. "Thank you for making my daughter feel special." Maya's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked away. "She is special. You don't need to pay extra for basic human kindness." As they prepared to leave, Emma tugged on Maya's sleeve. "Will you be here next week? Daddy said we might come back." "I'll be here," Maya promised, squeezing Emma's small hand gently. That night, as Marcus tucked Emma into her hospital-style bed with its specialized mattress and safety rails, she chattered excitedly about their lunch adventure. "Daddy, Maya was really nice. She didn't look at my wheelchair like it was scary." "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Emma's face grew thoughtful. "Some people look at my wheelchair and then they look at me with sad eyes like I'm broken. But Maya looked at me like I was just Emma." Marcus felt his throat tighten. At 7 years old, his daughter had already learned to read the reactions of adults who didn't know how to respond to disability. The fact that Maya had passed this invisible test spoke volumes about her character. Over the following weeks, Marcus found excuses to return to the diner. Emma always requested it specifically, but Marcus had his own reasons for going back. He began to learn Maya's schedule, the way she handled difficult customers with patience, how she always remembered regular patrons' preferences, and most importantly, how she continued to treat Emma with the same natural warmth as their first meeting. During their fourth visit, Marcus arrived to find Maya looking exhausted and stressed. Her usual bright demeanor was strained, and he noticed her hands shaking slightly as she poured their drinks. "Everything okay?" he asked when she brought their food. Maya hesitated, clearly debating whether to confide in a customer. "It's nothing I can't handle," she finally said. "Just some family stuff." But Emma, with the intuitive perception of children, wasn't satisfied with that answer. "You look sad, Maya. When I'm sad, Daddy gives me hugs. Do you need a hug?" Maya's composure cracked slightly. "Oh, sweetie, that's very kind of you." "What's wrong?" Emma pressed with the innocent persistence of childhood. Maya glanced at Marcus, who nodded encouragingly. "My sister Lucy has been having some trouble at school. She's different from other kids, and some of them have been mean to her. Today her teacher called and said she needs some special help that I'm not sure I can afford." "What kind of special help?" Emma asked. "She has trouble reading and focusing, and she gets overwhelmed in loud places. The school thinks she might benefit from some testing and maybe a different learning environment." Marcus's mind immediately jumped to solutions. He had enough money to solve this problem with a phone call, but he had learned that throwing money at situations wasn't always the right approach. Instead, he asked carefully, "What options have they given you?" Maya's laugh was bitter. "Options require money I don't have. The testing alone costs more than I make in 2 months, and if she needs a special school..." She shrugged helplessly. That evening, Marcus made some phone calls. Within 2 days, he had gathered information about the best educational specialists in the city, the top schools for children with learning differences, and the most respected child psychologists who could provide proper testing and assessment. But he knew Maya would be too proud to accept direct charity. He needed a different approach. The solution came to him while watching Emma work with her own team of specialists. His foundation, established in Sarah's memory, provided grants for families dealing with medical and educational challenges. Technically, Lucy's situation fell well within the foundation's mission. Marcus spent the weekend crafting a plan. On Monday, he returned to the diner with official-looking documents from the Sarah Chen Memorial Foundation. "Maya," he said after they had finished eating, "I need to ask you something. Would you be interested in applying for an educational grant? My late wife's foundation provides assistance to families who need help with special education services." Maya's eyes narrowed suspiciously. "This wouldn't have anything to do with the enormous tips you've been leaving, would it?" Marcus felt heat rise in his cheeks. "The foundation is completely legitimate. We help dozens of families every year. And you just happen to think of us?" Emma, who had been coloring quietly, looked up from her drawing. "Maya, my daddy helps lots of people. Mommy used to say that when you have more than you need, you should share with people who need help." Maya's expression softened as she looked at Emma, then back at Marcus. "What would this grant cover? Testing, educational support, tutoring, special schooling if needed. Basically, whatever Lucy requires to reach her full potential." For a long moment, Maya was silent. Marcus could see her pride warring with her love for her sister. "Why?" she finally asked. "Why would you help us?" Marcus looked at Emma, who was now showing Maya her drawing of their house. But this time, there were more figures in the picture. A woman with long hair who could only be Maya, and a smaller figure who must be Lucy. "Because," Marcus said quietly, "kindness should be rewarded, and because every child deserves the chance to succeed." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I can't accept charity." "It's not charity," Emma piped up seriously. "It's sharing. Like when I share my toys with Lucy when she comes to play." Both adults stared at Emma. "When she comes to play?" Marcus asked. Emma looked confused by their surprise. "I invited Lucy to come play at our house. Maya said she would ask you, Daddy. We're going to color and watch movies, and Lucy can try my special wheelchair. I want to show her all my princess dresses." Marcus felt his world tilt slightly. Without consulting him, his 7-year-old daughter had apparently made social arrangements that would bring these two families together outside the safe, controlled environment of the diner. Maya looked mortified. "Emma, sweetie, I never said—" "But you said Lucy would like me," Emma interrupted. "And you said she gets lonely sometimes, just like me. So I thought we could be lonely together, except then we wouldn't be lonely anymore." The simple logic of childhood had cut straight to the heart of the matter. Marcus looked at Maya, seeing his own surprise reflected in her face, along with something else. Hope. "Actually," Marcus heard himself saying, "that sounds like a wonderful idea. Perhaps Lucy would like to come for a play date this weekend." Maya's hands fluttered nervously. "Oh, I couldn't impose." "Please, Maya." Emma's voice carried the particular pleading tone that Marcus had never been able to resist. "I never get to have friends over because everyone thinks our house is too fancy and scary. But Lucy won't think that, will she?" Maya looked at Emma's eager face, then at Marcus. "Lucy has never been to a house like yours." "Then it will be an adventure for all of us," Marcus said, surprising himself with his own words. "Emma's right. She doesn't get many opportunities to have friends over. It would mean a lot to her." That Saturday afternoon, Maya arrived at the Chen estate with Lucy in tow. The 8-year-old girl had Emma's same bright eyes but in a different face, and Marcus could immediately see why Maya worked so hard to provide for her. Lucy was clearly overwhelmed by the grandeur of the house, staying close to Maya's side as they entered the foyer. Emma, however, wheeled over immediately. "Hi, Lucy. Do you want to see my room? It has a really cool elevator that goes to the ceiling." Within minutes, Emma had Lucy at ease with her natural enthusiasm and complete lack of self-consciousness about their economic differences. Marcus watched from the doorway as the two girls explored Emma's extensive collection of adaptive toys and games, Emma explaining how each one worked and sharing freely. Maya stood beside him, her nervousness evident. "I've never seen Lucy relax so quickly with someone new," she murmured. "Emma has that effect on people," Marcus replied. "She sees the world without the complications adults create." As the afternoon progressed, Marcus found himself in conversation with Maya while the girls played. He learned that she had been Lucy's guardian since their parents died in a car accident 3 years earlier, almost the same time Sarah had passed away. Maya had dropped out of college to care for Lucy, working multiple jobs to keep them afloat. "Don't you ever resent it?" Marcus asked. "Having your life derailed so young?" Maya's response was immediate and fierce. "Never. Lucy is everything to me. She's funny and creative and incredibly intelligent. She just learns differently than other kids. I would do anything for her." The passion in her voice reminded Marcus of his own feelings about Emma. Here were two single parents, from vastly different circumstances, united by their devotion to children who needed extra care and understanding. Later that evening, as Maya prepared to leave with a reluctant Lucy, Emma made an announcement that surprised everyone. "Daddy, I want Lucy to come to my school." Marcus blinked. "Your school? Lucy is really smart, but her school doesn't understand her. My school has special teachers who understand kids like us. Lucy should come there." The private academy Emma attended was indeed equipped to handle children with various learning differences, but the tuition was astronomical. Marcus glanced at Maya, who was already shaking her head. "Emma, that's very sweet, but—" "The foundation covers educational expenses," Marcus interrupted, an idea forming in his mind. "If Lucy qualifies for support, there's no reason she couldn't attend Riverside Academy." Maya's face went through a series of expressions: hope, fear, uncertainty, and finally determination. "What would I need to do?" "Let me make some calls. If Lucy's assessments show she would benefit from that environment, I can expedite the application process." 2 weeks later, Lucy was enrolled at Riverside Academy with a full scholarship from the Sarah Chen Memorial Foundation. The transformation in both girls was immediate and remarkable. Lucy blossomed in the smaller classes with specialized attention, while Emma gained a friend who truly understood what it meant to be different. But the changes weren't limited to the children. Maya, relieved of the financial stress of Lucy's education and with a more manageable work schedule, began to smile more easily. Marcus found himself looking forward to their conversations at the diner, which had evolved from polite customer interactions to genuine friendship. One evening in late spring, nearly 4 months after their first meeting, Marcus arrived at the diner to find Maya crying in the back booth during her break. Emma immediately wheeled over, her face creased with concern. "Maya, what's wrong? Are you hurt?" Maya wiped her eyes quickly. "Oh, sweetie, I'm okay. Just got some news that surprised me." "Good news or bad news?" Emma asked with the directness of childhood. Maya laughed through her tears. "Good news, very good news. Lucy's teachers say she's reading at grade level now, and she's made 3 friends at school. And—" she looked at Marcus. "I got accepted to the nursing program at the community college. I can take evening classes while working day shifts." Emma clapped her hands together. "That's wonderful. You're going to be a nurse like the ones who helped me at the doctor." "I want to help kids like you and Lucy," Maya said softly. "Kids who need someone to understand them." Marcus felt a swell of pride that surprised him with its intensity. "When do you start?" "Fall semester. I'll be able to keep working here during the day, and Mrs. Patterson from down the hall said she'll watch Lucy in the evenings when I'm in class." As summer arrived, the friendship between the two families deepened. Maya and Lucy became regular visitors to the Chen estate, sharing barbecues by the pool and movie nights in the home theater. Emma and Lucy were inseparable, with Lucy's learning differences and Emma's physical limitations creating a bond of understanding that transcended their age difference. Marcus found himself changing too. Maya's influence had brought warmth back into his home, laughter back into his daily routine. Emma was happier than she had been since Sarah's death, and Marcus realized that his own healing had been facilitated by watching Maya's quiet strength and selfless love for Lucy. One evening in July, as they watched the girls splash in the pool from the safety of the shallow end, Maya turned to Marcus with a question that had clearly been weighing on her mind. Why did you really help us? The truth this time? Marcus was quiet for a long moment, watching Emma and Lucy giggle as they played with floating toys. Because you treated Emma like she was normal. Not special, not broken, not inspiring, just normal. Do you know how rare that is? Maya nodded slowly. People do the same thing to Lucy. They either act like her learning differences make her stupid, or they go overboard treating her like she's fragile. But you saw Emma as just a kid who needed her pancakes cut up. She is just a kid who needs her pancakes cut up. Marcus smiled. Exactly. And you gave me something I'd forgotten was possible. What's that? You gave me hope that Emma could have a normal childhood, even if it looks different than other kids' childhoods. As August approached, Maya's first semester of nursing school loomed ahead. The schedule would be demanding, and Marcus could see the stress beginning to build in her shoulders and the tightness around her eyes. One afternoon, he made a decision that felt both inevitable and terrifying. I have a proposition, he told Maya as she served him coffee at the diner. Should I be worried? I need a live-in nanny for Emma, someone who understands her needs, who she trusts, who can help her navigate the world with confidence. Maya's face went very still. Marcus, the position comes with a substantial salary, full health benefits, housing in the guest wing of the house, and flexible scheduling that would accommodate your class schedule. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you a partnership in raising two remarkable little girls who deserve every opportunity in the world. Maya looked across the diner, where the afternoon regulars were finishing their coffee and pie. This place has been my life for 3 years. And you've outgrown it. You're meant for bigger things, Maya. Lucy needs you to reach for bigger things. That evening, Maya called Marcus with her answer. I'll try it for a trial period. 6 months. If Emma doesn't adjust well, or if it doesn't work out, I go back to the diner with no hard feelings. Deal. The transition was smoother than anyone expected. Maya and Lucy moved into the guest wing, which Marcus had hastily converted into a comfortable apartment. Lucy delighted in having her own room for the first time, while Maya appreciated the privacy and independence the arrangement provided. Emma adapted to having Maya as her daily caregiver with enthusiastic joy. Maya's nursing background, combined with her intuitive understanding of children's needs, made her perfectly suited to help Emma navigate the challenges of daily life with spina bifida. But it was the small moments that showed Marcus he had made the right decision. Maya singing to Emma during physical therapy sessions. Lucy helping Emma with art projects that accommodated both their different abilities. The sound of laughter echoing through the house at all hours of the day. As Maya's first semester of nursing school began, she established a routine that worked for everyone. She would handle Emma's morning care, accompany her to school when needed, manage afternoon activities and therapy appointments, then head to her evening classes while Marcus took over parenting duties. The partnership they had formed was more than professional. It was a blending of two families that had found in each other what they had been missing. One November evening, as Marcus helped Emma with her homework while Maya studied for midterms at the kitchen table, Emma made another of her innocent observations that cut straight to the heart of things. Daddy, our house doesn't feel empty anymore. Marcus looked around the kitchen, taking in the scene. Maya's nursing textbooks spread across half the table, Lucy's art supplies scattered on the counter where she had been working on a project, Emma's specialized computer equipment humming quietly in the corner. The formal, sterile perfection of his previous life had been replaced by the beautiful chaos of a real family. No, sweetheart, it doesn't. Maya looked up from her textbook, meeting Marcus's eyes across the room. In that moment, he realized that what had begun as gratitude for her kindness to Emma had evolved into something deeper and more complex. Maya had become essential to his life, not just as Emma's caregiver, but as his partner in creating the warm, loving home both their daughters deserved. As winter settled over the city, Marcus found himself thinking about the future in ways he hadn't since Sarah's death. Maya would graduate from nursing school in 2 years. Emma would eventually need more independence. Lucy was thriving academically and socially. The foundation was growing, helping more families each year. But mostly he thought about the woman who had transformed their lives simply by treating his daughter with basic human kindness. Maya had asked for nothing and given everything. She had brought light back into his house and laughter back into his daughter's world. On Christmas morning, as he watched Emma and Lucy tear through their presents with equal excitement, and Maya smile at their joy while sipping coffee in her pajamas, Marcus knew that this was what Sarah had wanted for them. Not just survival, but true happiness. Not just security, but love. The waitress who had helped his disabled daughter cut her pancakes had indeed changed their lives. But in return, they had changed hers as well. Lucy was thriving in ways that would have been impossible without the opportunities Marcus's resources had provided. Maya was building toward a career that would fulfill her desire to help children like Emma and Lucy. Most importantly, they had all learned that family isn't defined by blood or circumstances, but by the choice to show up for each other, day after day, with kindness, patience, and love. As Emma wheeled over to show him her favorite present, an adaptive art easel that would let her paint while seated in her wheelchair, Marcus caught Maya's eye and smiled. She smiled back, and in that simple exchange was the recognition of two people who had found in each other exactly what they hadn't known they were looking for. The millionaire and the waitress, the disabled child and her struggling guardian, the lonely mansion and the overcrowded apartment, all of it had been transformed by the simple act of one person seeing another's humanity and responding with genuine care. Sometimes the most extraordinary changes begin with the most ordinary kindness. And sometimes, when we open our hearts to help others, we discover that we are the ones who have been saved. The months that followed Christmas brought new challenges and deeper bonds. Maya's nursing program intensified, with clinical rotations that sometimes kept her at the hospital until late evening. During these times, Marcus found himself stepping more fully into the role of primary caregiver for both girls, an experience that taught him patience and creativity he never knew he possessed. Emma's 8th birthday party in February was a celebration that would have been impossible in their previous isolated existence. The guest list included not just Lucy, but also Emma's new friends from school and several children from Maya's neighborhood, whom Lucy had befriended. Marcus watched in amazement as his formal living room was transformed into a chaotic wonderland of balloons, cake, and children's laughter. Maya had insisted on making the birthday cake herself, despite her packed schedule. Emma deserves something made with love, not just ordered from an expensive bakery, she had said, and Marcus had learned not to argue with Maya when she made declarations about what the children deserved. The cake was a masterpiece of imperfection, slightly lopsided, with frosting that bore the fingerprints of two enthusiastic helpers, but decorated with Emma's favorite purple flowers and glittery stars. When Emma saw it, her face lit up with pure joy. "It's the most beautiful cake in the whole world," she declared, and Marcus knew she meant it completely. During the party, Marcus found himself in conversation with other parents for the first time in years. Maya had somehow managed to create connections that extended beyond just the children's friendships. Mrs. Rodriguez, who had been with the family since Emma was born, pulled him aside during the festivities. "Mr. Chen," she said in her softly accented English, "this house has life in it again. Emma laughs every day now. And you," she paused, studying his face, "you smile with your eyes again, like you did when Mrs. Sarah was here." Her words stayed with him long after the party ended and the last guest had gone home. That night, as he helped Maya clean up the remnants of the celebration, he found himself watching her with new awareness. She was humming as she worked, the same unconscious melody he had heard her sing to Emma that first day in the diner. Her hair had escaped its ponytail, and there was frosting on her sleeve from where Lucy had hugged her. "Thank you," he said quietly. Maya looked up from the stack of paper plates she was gathering. "For what?" "For giving Emma the childhood she deserves. For bringing joy back into this house. For..." He paused, struggling to find words for feelings he had been afraid to acknowledge. "For helping me become a better father." Maya's cheeks flushed pink. "Marcus, you were already a wonderful father. You just needed someone to remind you that it's okay to let life be messy sometimes." Spring brought Maya's graduation from the nursing program, an event that felt like a celebration for the entire family. Emma had insisted on making a banner that read, "Congratulations, Nurse Maya," in her careful 7-year-old handwriting, while Lucy had created a card with a drawing of Maya in scrubs surrounded by smiling children. Marcus had arranged for a photographer to capture the ceremony, understanding instinctively that this moment represented more than just Maya's academic achievement. It was the culmination of years of sacrifice, determination, and love.
As Maya walked across the stage in her cap and gown, with Lucy cheering from the audience and Emma clapping from her wheelchair, Marcus felt a pride that was both paternal and something deeper. After the ceremony, Maya had multiple job offers to consider. The children's hospital where she had completed her clinical rotation wanted her for their pediatric ward. A private practice specializing in developmental disabilities had offered her a position that would allow her to work with children like Emma and Lucy. Even the local school district had approached her about becoming a school nurse. "What do you want to do?" Marcus asked, as they sat on the patio that evening, watching the girls play in the garden. Maya was quiet for a long moment. "I want to make a difference. I want to help families like ours, families who are struggling to get the support their children need. The hospital would give you that opportunity." "Yes, but—" Maya hesitated. "I've been thinking about something bigger. What if the foundation expanded its mission? What if we created a comprehensive support center, medical care, educational resources, family counseling, financial assistance, all in one place?" Marcus felt his heart rate quicken. "We—" Maya's eyes widened as she realized what she had said. "I mean, if you thought it was a good idea, I know the foundation is your project, your tribute to Sarah." "Sarah would have loved this idea," Marcus said firmly. "She always believed that helping one family at a time wasn't enough. She wanted to create systemic change." Over the following weeks, they worked together to develop the concept. Maya's first-hand experience with the challenges facing families like theirs, combined with Marcus's business acumen and financial resources, created a powerful partnership. They envisioned a center that would provide medical care, educational testing, therapy services, and family support under one roof. The Sarah Chen Family Resource Center opened 18 months later in a converted warehouse downtown. Maya served as the director of patient services, while Marcus handled the business operations and funding. The center's first client was a single mother whose son had been diagnosed with autism, a family Maya had met during her hospital rotation. Emma, now 9 years old, had become the center's unofficial mascot. She would often spend afternoons there after school, helping younger children feel comfortable with their own disabilities. Her natural empathy and complete lack of self-consciousness about her wheelchair made her an ideal peer mentor. Lucy, thriving in her 3rd year at Riverside Academy, had discovered a talent for art therapy techniques. She would sit with children who were struggling with their diagnoses, teaching them to express their feelings through drawing and painting. Her own experience with learning differences gave her a unique ability to connect with children who felt misunderstood. One afternoon in late summer, as Marcus watched Maya lead a support group for parents of children with special needs, he realized that somewhere along the way, his feelings for her had evolved far beyond gratitude or professional partnership. She had become his closest friend, his most trusted advisor, his partner in every sense except the romantic one. The realization should have frightened him. Sarah had been the love of his life, and he had never imagined loving anyone else. But watching Maya's gentle strength as she helped other families navigate their challenges, seeing the way she had transformed not just Emma's life, but his own, he understood that the heart's capacity for love was not limited by previous loss. That evening, after the girls had gone to bed, Marcus found Maya in the kitchen, reviewing case files for the next day's appointments. She looked up as he entered, her reading glasses perched on her nose, her hair falling loose around her shoulders. "Long day?" he asked, settling into the chair across from her. "Good day," she corrected with a tired smile. "Mrs. Patterson's son took his first steps in the physical therapy room today. 4 years old, and the doctors said he might never walk." Marcus felt the familiar swell of pride, watching Maya's face light up as she talked about her work. "You make the impossible possible for these families." "We make it possible," Maya corrected gently. "None of this would exist without your vision and resources. And none of it would matter without your heart." Maya's hands stilled on the papers in front of her. Something in Marcus's tone had shifted, and she looked at him with sudden attention. "Maya," he began, then stopped, uncertain how to continue. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if Emma hadn't wanted pancakes that day?" Maya's smile was soft. "I think about it all the time. Lucy and I were in such a dark place. I was working myself to exhaustion. Lucy was struggling in school, and I felt like I was failing her every day. Then you and Emma walked into the diner, and everything changed." "You changed everything," Marcus said quietly. "You brought light back into our lives when I thought we would always live in the shadow of loss." Maya reached across the table and covered his hand with hers. "You did the same for us. You gave Lucy opportunities I never could have provided. You gave me a purpose beyond just surviving." "You gave me something more than that," Marcus said, turning his hand palm up so their fingers could intertwine. "You gave me hope. You gave me love. You gave me a family." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Marcus." "I love you," he said simply. "I love the way you see the world, the way you love our daughters, the way you've made me a better man. I love the life we've built together." "I love you too," Maya whispered. "I have for a long time. I just didn't know if it was okay to feel that way." "Why wouldn't it be?" "Because you hired me to take care of Emma, because you've given us so much already, because Sarah ... Marcus lifted their joined hands to his lips, pressing a gentle kiss to her knuckles. "Sarah would have loved you. She would have loved seeing Emma so happy, seeing our house full of laughter again. She would have wanted this for us." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, processing the weight of words that had been building between them for months. "So, what happens now?" Maya asked. "Now we continue building the life we've already started," Marcus said. "We love our daughters, we help other families, and we take it one day at a time." Maya smiled through her tears. "That sounds perfect." 6 months later, on a crisp October morning, Marcus and Maya were married in the garden of their home. Emma served as maid of honor, her wheelchair decorated with purple ribbons and flowers. Lucy was the flower girl, scattering rose petals with artistic flair. The ceremony was small, attended only by their closest friends and the staff from the resource center who had become like family. As they exchanged vows, Marcus spoke about second chances and the courage to love again. Maya talked about the power of kindness to transform lives and the joy of building a family from the ground up. Emma and Lucy, standing beside them, held hands and smiled at the adults who had become their parents through choice rather than biology. The reception was held in the same garden where they had first talked about their dreams for the resource center. As Marcus and Maya shared their first dance as husband and wife, Emma and Lucy danced in Emma's wheelchair nearby, their laughter mixing with the music. Later that evening, as the last guests were leaving, Emma wheeled over to where Marcus and Maya sat together on the patio. "Daddy, are we a real family now?" she asked, with the directness that had always characterized her approach to life. Marcus looked at Maya, then at Lucy, who was showing Mrs. Rodriguez her collection of wedding flowers. "We've been a real family for a long time, sweetheart. Now we just have the certificate to prove it." Emma nodded seriously. "Good, because I was worried Lucy might leave if we weren't official." Maya laughed, reaching down to hug Emma. "Nobody's leaving, baby girl. We're all exactly where we belong." As the evening wound down and the girls finally went to bed, Marcus and Maya sat together in the quiet garden, watching the stars emerge in the darkening sky. The house behind them glowed with warm light, and they could hear the comfortable sounds of family life. Mrs. Rodriguez tidying up, the girls giggling as they got ready for bed, the soft hum of the air conditioning. "Do you remember what you said that first day?" Maya asked, her head resting on Marcus's shoulder. "About Emma feeling like houses can be empty even when they're big." "I remember. This house has never felt empty since the day we moved in. Even when it was just the four of us, it felt full of love and possibility." Marcus pressed a kiss to the top of her head. "That's because you brought more than just yourself and Lucy. You brought hope. You brought healing. You brought the understanding that family isn't about blood or money or circumstances. It's about showing up for each other every single day." "The funny thing is," Maya said softly, "I thought I was just being a waitress, just doing my job. I had no idea that helping one little girl cut her pancakes would change everything." "Maybe that's the point," Marcus replied. "Maybe the most important things we do are the ones that feel ordinary at the time. Maybe kindness always feels small to the person giving it, but enormous to the person receiving it."
As they sat together in the peaceful darkness, surrounded by the life they had built from a chance encounter in a small diner, Marcus thought about the journey that had brought them to this moment. A millionaire who had lost his way in grief, a waitress working multiple jobs to support her sister, two little girls who needed love and understanding, a foundation that had grown from personal loss into a beacon of hope for hundreds of families. All of it had started with Maya's simple decision to kneel down to Emma's level and treat her like any other child. That single act of kindness had rippled outward, touching every aspect of their lives and the lives of countless others. Sometimes the most extraordinary changes begin with the most ordinary kindness. And sometimes when we open our hearts to help others, we discover that we are the ones who have been saved. In the end, love multiplies when it's shared, and the greatest gift we can give is the recognition of each other's humanity, one small act of kindness at a time.